Hopefully I did it justice.
You did justice. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I am so happy to be on this webinar. I think it's explicitly important that in order for all of us to make equitable changes in our environments, whether that's a school or wherever we are, we have to think about how we can infuse a secret sauce. And that secret sauce is just paying attention to our environment, being present, and figuring out ways to make that environment so much more enhanced and welcoming so that people want to be in that space and they want to feel motivated and they want to be productive to get the outcomes that we hope will lead to change in our world and society. So thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And we're definitely excited to hear the game you're getting ready to lace us with.
Yes, I'm excited. So I am going to share my fabulous screen. Can you see my screen?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So we are talking about, let's see how I make this bigger. There we go. We want to shape mindsets through cultural pedagogy. And we want to do that by utilizing decor with a purpose. And doing so is going to help us celebrate culture within our classrooms, within our school, our work environments, wherever we are, our homes. Doing so and putting forth that intentional effort is going to make an outcome that's positive and beneficial for all those who are a part of that space. So I have a wonderful quote that I wanted to share with everybody to get us started. And that's just that the youth need to see greatness reflected in our eyes. Go forth, let them know it's real. And that's by Danae Guerrera. And that speaks to me because for a long time being in education and you know, you're going in and out, you're doing the days in and days out, and it gets rough because the days go by so fast and it's a blur. And sometimes as a leader, educational leader or a teacher, we get very overwhelmed by the tasks, the daily tasks that we have to do. And sometimes what falls off the wayside is the fact that, you know, our spaces have to invoke that, you know, space that creates calm, creates peace, creates an environment where we can feel safe and we feel like we can be motivated to be productive. So here is a little bit of my classroom space. I decided to go back into the classroom this year because one, it's a pandemic. And as a Black educator, I know that we are vital and needed in classrooms. My daughter's going into kindergarten right now. So I wanted to be present for her educational experience and at the same time continue to help students who really need it, especially after a pandemic. So this is some examples of my classroom. What I had was a blank canvas, which was wonderful because I was able to flip the script, so to speak, and make the classroom more inviting. And so I'm going to talk to all of you about that and, you know, what that entails. But what I did is I infused culture. I teach criminal justice and fundamentals of law. And I wanted to look at criminal justice and law from the perspective of civil rights leaders and how they were essentially put in jail for fighting for different causes and for human rights, and how sometimes we have to be the change agents and the chain breakers in order for us to really push the needle to get human rights for us all. And so that is the class that I teach. And so what I did is I added large posters that I received donated. I asked for donations and I was able to get them and be blessed with them. And so I have these large posters in my classroom, Frederick Douglass, Justice Sotomayor, and one of my favorite is Tamika Mallory, who was very present in our civil rights movement today. I feel she's one of my mentors, and she is definitely a leader in society that is putting forth change and having a voice for those who are the voiceless. So this just gives you a little bit of what I have put into my classroom through my own pocket, through donations, and I will talk about those different ways that I do that. So where we're at, what we need to think about when you start doing classroom decor or wherever your space is. You know, we've been through a pandemic for 2 years now. We may even hit a third, which is a realistic perspective. And so what the purpose of having classroom decor is to restore equity and restore excellence. And I say that because if we can get to that level as educators and CEOs, SHEEOs, of thinking about things of how do we restore, because we all have lost so much over the last 2 years. And how do we be more inclusive and equitable? And how do we stretch ourselves to be excellent? And that means paying attention to details and understanding that our audience, they move based on multiple areas of our brains, right? But the mindset that we want to get to, let's say if you all are educators and I'm an educator, I want to get to the limbic system of the brain, and I also want to get to the cerebellum of the brain. Cerebellum is the standard learning, right? You need to learn, you're going to memorize, you're going to do these things to progress. Limbic is the one that focuses and that is captured by, let's say, TikTok, right? Students can spend and adults can spend a lot of time on TikTok because it's instant, it's quick, it's entertaining, it's gratifying. Roblox. I need to buy some stock in Roblox because it is the new world. We have the metaverse coming and everyone is piqued in interest. So as an educator, while you're decorating that classroom, you want to put those two things together to shape the mind. You want to add those two components to make sure that you are making your space not only inviting and welcoming, but entertaining and fulfilling so that students will want to continue to learn. So what's next is it's poll time. I'm going to turn it over to Kiana so that we can get a little poll time. I love polls, and I'm interested in knowing if you can name your favorite place to shop during the holidays. So I'm going to put, if I could vote, I would put Target. So we're going to play a little song, have a little quick break. You think about it. You may already know what it is, hands down, but you know, Target, Walmart, Macy's, Amazon, 99-cent store. Now we have the $1.25 store. No, no more dollar store. So let's take a quick music break and you guys can vote. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. All my life, grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. I'm married to this game. That's who I made my wife. Said I die alone. I told that she's probably right. One thing that's for sure, not a stranger to this life. Gotta say this full of frankness and a shoulder full of stripes. Don't know it like myself. I say self-made, meaning I design myself. County jail sage, you can pull my foul yourself. Spy rage, swallow rocks, I'm getting high myself. See, I'm right, I like the life I built. West side 60, I might got killed. That is so tall, I think I might got still. Legendary baller like Mike, like Will. 96 Impala, thug like 4 wheels. Up against the wall, squabble at 5 hills. Like a boss, ask me how I feel. Successful street, touching them first meals. Whoa, all my life, grinding all my life. Hey, hey. Okay, we are grinding all our lives to spin that cheddar in these different places. Do we have a potential answer on what some folks selected?
Yes, we do. All of our participants selected Target.
Boom! And I knew it. And I'll tell you why. Because Target is so addictive. It really is. But there's strategy to that addiction. You know, they call it the $100 store because you're going in for one thing, right? You want to go into they have a little dollar section too, which has now gone up to 1, 3, and 5. And you come out spending $100. And they have programs where you can link your debit card to their program and you save 5%. And it's just easy in there. Everything looks aesthetically pleasing. They have food, they have clothes, they have school supplies, they have furniture. It's, you know, it's a one-stop shop, and it's very like invigorating when you go in there because you don't know what you're going to get and you don't know what they're going to do. And now they've been bringing in cultural relevance and having different artists and hair products. I can get my Miel Organics there, and you know, it's a one-stop shop, and I love it. Walmart is the same thing. When you know you want those quick deals and you want to get in and get out, and you have Amazon, right? A click of a button, now you can have those things. But there are certain strategies, marketing wise and visually, what they have done in their spaces, how easy it is to maneuver their website or to go in the spaces and find exactly what is needed. And it's very strategic and important because if you're comfortable and familiar with where you're shopping, you'll continue to go there if you have an easy process, if you feel welcome, if you feel like the environment is like home. And that's essentially what Target has done. And what was it? So in 2020, they topped $93 billion in sales. $93 billion in sales during a pandemic. So that just goes to show that, you know, we have to utilize those same strategies and start paying attention to that environment that you're going in when you go to Target. It's very strategic, you know, of what they do and where they have things and how they do it to motivate people to take out their debit cards and spend that $100 like it's $10 back in the day. So there's a quote here. One of my favorite persons that I love is Beyonce, all day, every day. And one of the things that she said is that, you know, you have to cultivate your values. And she says, my family is my sanctuary, my weakness, and my strength. They're my tribe. And it was important that we all felt like family. And we'll do anything for family, right? We will spend. We know sometimes they don't need what they need. We will go on trips. We will do all these things. So now it's time for a second poll. And the second poll that I want you all to think about and have a question on is your favorite destination. What's your favorite spot to travel for family vacation? Or, you know, is it Disneyland? Is it New York? Is it Hawaii? Knott's Berry Farm, Adventure City, Six Flags, Great Wolf Lodge? You know, you can spend an arm and a leg in Great Wolf Lodge. So take a few minutes. We're gonna have another music break and kind of think about what's your favorite spot that you love so much. Get it, get it, get it. Hey.
You can't be the only one grooving.
Right? Hey, hey. All right, cool.
And we have our results.
Woo! And what it be?
We had a few participants put Disneyland.
Yes.
A few participants put Knott's Berry Farm, and a few participants selected Six Flags.
Yes. And so, you know, one of my child's favorite place on earth is Disneyland. I'm sure everyone has broke the bank going at one point or another. And it's what, $100, maybe more per ticket. So, what is driving us to do that? One, it's we love our family and we want to make them happy. But two, why that place on earth? Like, why is it considered the greatest place on earth? And I think it's because of the strategy that they put behind their marketing. And it started very early on. Walt Disney was a brilliant, brilliant man who was intentional about knowing and understanding his audience. And why he was so successful is because he was able to drive that message before Disneyland even opened up. Like, it wasn't even built yet. And it was featured on Dateline as like, wow, what is this place? Disneyland. And he started maybe 6 months earlier, having information about Disneyland before he even opened it. And what has happened is it's a generational experience within our culture in America, right? It's either Walt Disney World or you're doing Disneyland. At some point in your life, someone has probably experienced going, paying for, or participating if it's in the budget. And sometimes even when it's not, you save and you go. And Disneyland was also very successful because before you even get to Disneyland, you're on your way. There's freeway signs like Disneyland this way. It's telling you how to get there. When you get off the freeway, you see flags with different characters on it. Like, they're putting you in the mindset of what you're about to experience. In the parking structure, you're hearing the music from different movies and different areas in Disneyland. When you get to, not even in the park, before you get to the park, you get to Main Street and you see all those shopping areas to spend even more money besides your entry ticket. And then when you're in the park, you go to various areas and you shop like no other. Now you need memorabilia, right? Because you need to remember your moment. So Disneyland has been very strategic in how they utilize having people come back for more and more, and ensuring. Yes, go ahead.
I just want to make a quick comment, man. You really got my wheels turning. Since we're speaking about environments for kids, I would like to add that when it's appealing to them, they'll put pressure on the parents, right?
Yeah.
And totally. So when we're talking about kids, you really can influence them based on an environment. Because I know my kids put pressure on me. Yeah. They love Disneyland. So I just wanted to add that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think that you brought up a really, really great point. And as you were talking, I'm just thinking about, they want to go to Disneyland every 2 months,
Every month if they could. And I took my daughter for 3 years in a row. And the only reason why we didn't go last year was because of the pandemic. But that's usually what she wants to do for her birthday. She doesn't want a party, or she wants a party and, she wants to go to Disneyland. She wants the experience. She don't want a gift. She enjoys that magical place. And, last year they made $4.34 billion. So, and that wasn't even they weren't even open the full part of the year. So that's, exceptional. And Disneyland has expanded out to ABC, ESPN, and they've built this legacy and long-lasting customer relationship that is very loyal, very committed, because when you can make it rain for your kids, they got you. So what I want to do was give you those two examples to show that if you can take a little bit of Target and you can take a little bit of Disneyland and infuse it into the strategies to decorate your classroom or your workspace, you will have no problem getting children to put forth the effort, even on days when it seems very difficult and unmotivating. Because like I said, you're trying to get to both areas of those wavelengths. And in order to make one of those wavelengths in your mind really turn and go, is to utilize that side that is attached to the emotion of why we do the things that we do and being intentional to your audience. You have to know what they like, and you facilitate that in your spaces on a regular and consistent basis, but sporadically, and it has to look effortlessly in order for them to show them that you love them without having to tell them all the time that you love them. Doing little things here and there and putting forth the effort into your space to show that I believe in equity, I believe in excellence, and I'm going to demonstrate that before I even say a word to you. How do you make that space? So I'm going to show you how to decorate and design and do it on a dime, because, you know, we all are strapped and we are paying high gas prices, and, you know, turkeys and Christmas trees is $100 and $250 and all kinds of things like that. And no one has time for that. So there are strategies that I have to help you, what you need to focus on for your classroom, and then how to be able to execute that without breaking the bank, which I think is exceptionally important. So moving on, how do you shift your space? So the number one way that you can shift a space is through music. Music is a universal language, and it is our sixth sense, in my opinion. It is the it's invigorating all of your senses to use intuition and power. And when we feel intuitive, meaning we know what to expect when we go to an environment like Target and Disneyland, we are more likely to continue going there. We are more likely to feel that we are in power of our destiny when we are able to utilize that universal language of music, and when we within that environment are leading a way for them to get to their sixth sense, which is absolutely vital and important. I would say the next thing that you need is visual connection. So I've put a couple examples on my presentation of just something simple like a door decorating contest. Because sometimes everyone they can't, that's not really their flow, and they can't do an entire classroom space. There's just no time, too many preps, or if you're a principal, you know, you're bogged down with paperwork. I totally get it. But I always made time to slowly improve my space. So on the left side at the top, there are some beautiful examples of door decorating contest. And a great way to get your scholars or your employees on board with you to create this space is utilizing them to help you come up and create unique and different ideas, and having them help you create this space together. It's something you can do at the beginning of the year. You can transition it monthly if you like, or usually the school hosts a variety of different type of ways that you can build culture in the school, and you want to tie it back to your demographic of students or your audience, and how do you shape and build culture. So in the middle at the bottom there, you see Because of Her I Can. You see beautiful Black woman with curls that are there, just like my curls. Yes, we love our curls. And so putting that on the door before you even enter the classroom speaks values. Volumes speaks values and volume. Because when you are able to connect what people like, and you get to that sixth sense, right? And you are visually connecting what they like into your space, you're going to have a much more easier environment, peaceful, calming environment, because you are catering and you are understanding who your audience is. The last example there is just motivational quotes. And I think that that is so important, because you want to continue encouraging your scholars or whomever it is with various unique quotes, or from different artists that they like, or if it's just a matter of, you know, connecting it to your curriculum. So different historical figures that are related to, that look like and reflect the students. And also thinking about culture, not just race and not just gender and not just demographic or origin, but thinking about different forms of culture. Like there's a skateboard culture that's out there. There is there's still a double Dutch culture out there. There is a variety of cultures that your scholars are in, that you need to have those conversations with them and infuse that into your environment in space, as well as the academic side. How do you shape and twist the curriculum so that they are understanding it at their experience and their level, and doing so in a creative and unique way, so that you have aesthetics, that you are doing what is considered the road less traveled. You're being intentional about your space, and you're being empathetic, and you're actually reflecting on who your audience is and incorporating that into your space and making those different spaces for them. And then I would say that memorable moments is very important. So creating different spaces within your classroom or your work environment, that is something that's going to be memorable. So not necessarily like student work on the wall, but maybe you all are working toward student learning goals, or maybe they are looking at progressively where they were at the beginning of the school year, where they're at in the middle of the school year by winter break, and then where they want to be by the end of the school year, or before finals, or whatever the case may be. And looking at your space, dividing it out of what you want to create for them, different areas that are going to invoke motivation, and it's going to help them want to be a part of the space, to be productive, because that's essentially what is the most important. Not just being present in the seat, and they take attendance and then their head is down, but how do you get them to start looking at their space to say, oh wow, this person really cares about me and who I am, because I'm seeing things that are reflective of who I am culturally, and not just, like I said, race and gender, but what are the things that they're truly interested in, and how do you tie that and connect that to the curriculum so that you can have the learning continue, which is so important. Okay, so I'm going to be wrapping up soon, but what I want to just say is that when you're designing and decorating a classroom, number one, you have to have a focus. You want to ensure that whatever your space is communicating, that it's acceptable for administrators or your school or your district. That's number one. Number two, when you walk into the space, people who are coming to observe you, or they are possibly coming to see if they want to fund you for something, or parents are coming for an open house, they know who you are, and it's very bold. They know what you're teaching. They know learning targets, which are very important. And it is a reflection of the demographic and your audience that you have. And that goes the same thing for the work environment. There has to be a focus. So it has to be really organized and intentional. And just like we lesson plan our curriculum, right? And you spend the time to have your daily lessons or your unit plan or your yearly calendar, you have to be intentional with your design. And so it has to have a focus. What areas, what wall is going to focus on what, whether it's a variety of things. So with that, you want to have a feature wall, and that wall can be unique and creative. It can be student driven or employee driven, and it can feature a variety of things. So one of my walls has artwork from my students that just love to draw and color. It also features where they can put pictures of people that mean something to them. And I'll print those out for them, whether it's certain artists or people in their lives, whatever that is. And then, like I said, I have a feature wall that focuses on our goals in the classroom altogether, which is so important. The next thing is, if you do have a whiteboard in your space or you have a projector, you want to make sure that whatever is supposed to be learned in your class on a regular basis, it is in that space where the students are going to be looking at that area the most. It should be large enough so that the students can actually read it and see it. Or if anyone's coming into your classroom environment, they're able to walk past it and it is a showstopper. It should be short and sweet with words. You want to limit how many words you use and get specific and to the point, but also you want it to be creatively, aesthetically pleasing. So your spaces in your environment should have some intentionality to it. There should be some aesthetics to it. And doing so is going to help create that warm and fuzzy environment that you're looking for. And then finally, I would just say, as far as your classroom or your workspace, you want to make memories there. So how can you incorporate memories of, like, I love history, so I always find ways to make memories in the classroom and having different spaces. Like, I have a chill space where they can just come in at lunch and read. The lights are a little bit lower. I have other lights on in the room. The door is open, but students know that they can come into my space when they're just having a difficult moment. And they can, like, just zone out and relax. And sometimes they can do that during class. Sometimes they're not having a good day and they need to reset themselves. So I have a space for that. And then I have a space for them to, they like to draw and they like to, I guess you could say, tag. They love tagging my board. So now they have a special place. And usually it's like their social media handles, at this, at that, or they like a lot of them love to draw. So they'll just sketch out whatever means the most to them. And so I have like a black chalk wall. I did black paint on one of my walls. And so they can write on it and do those things. And then I can always erase things. And over time, it just gets bigger and bigger. And it's a beautiful space. I'm creating an art district basically in my classroom for them to be able to creatively express themselves and connect to me, so that I can motivate them to be productive, which is the whole point of them being in school. So finally, I'm going to just wrap up really quick is some strategies that you can use to, get the dollars that you need if you are interested in creating a beautiful space, functioning space, an organized space, because an organized space really is an organized mind. And you can be so much more productive when you are thinking about your space. But I know that it can feel costly. So some strategies that I have is, number one, reaching out to local printing shops in the area of your school and asking for, if you want larger size posters, email them and let them know that you're a teacher. Most of the CEOs will give you those prints for free. And all my prints were free. I actually asked them, hey, could you give me a quote for this? I'm a teacher, I'm on a tight budget. I want these large posters to be a signature piece in my classroom. Literally gave it to me for free. So you also can receive that by simply asking. And that's the main thing. Any participants or anyone who's interested, I will send you templates of the letters and emails that I use, as well as companies in California that I have received donations from all over the state of California, being a principal, because I also decorated like large schools in my environment because we were co-located on a campus, and it was very difficult because the students didn't feel that they belonged on an LAUSD campus. And so we were able to change and switch up and enhance our campus because of those beautiful donations. You can always, if you need furniture, if you want different things in your classroom, artwork, you can always send an email and ask, and usually they will give you something that they have. OfferUp has a ton of free things all the time. So you can go on OfferUp, you can download the app and get that. If Pinterest, if you start a Pinterest and get all your visuals and make a visual board, some of those are actual companies. So you could reach out to Target, Walmart, those places that you find those beautiful pictures and ask them, hey, I saw this on Pinterest. I'm a teacher. I need this for this space. Would you be able to provide it for free or at a discounted rate? And 9 times out of 10, they will do it. And then let me see if there's another one that I have that I usually use. Okay. Also, people have yard sales all the time. You can drive around and get a ton of things for free, and you can repaint it, resurface it, do a variety of things to enhance your space. But the final thing, one of the most creative things that I typically share and do wherever I go on any campus is it's almost like think, pair, share, but it's with our things, like trash to treasure. So everyone in the homes, we all do. We have all this excess furniture. We have excess lamps, pillows, all these different variety of things. So the faculty can come together and bring those things on like a Saturday or whatever, or whenever you guys start decorating classrooms. And then people can, it's just have a free-for-all area. So every year I'd have a free-for-all area where teachers can come and get little things that they need to be eclectic and things that they wanted and needed to fulfill that creative portion of their space. And so that's something that you could bring to your administration, or if you're an administrator, maybe hosting something like that. It's super duper fun. And you can ask parents to bring those things out. I mean, you definitely don't want everyone's trash. Everyone's trash is not treasure. But a lot of it, you could repurpose it and recreate it to create a focus wall, to create a space for, meditation or things like that. And it just enhances, you want to bring in the home environment so that you can, make that space great. And I think I had one more poll. We have time for one more poll. It was this next poll, it's my favorite, is what is your favorite HGTV show if you watch an HGTV show? So there's Flip or Flop. That's a couple that were together. They flip and flop all these houses. They ended up getting a divorce. They actually married other people, but they still have a show together, and it's bomb. And they take, homes that people will just abandon, people don't want. They flip it and make it beautiful, and they make a killing and a profit. Love It or Listed is another one of my favorites. Love It or Listed is, there's a realtor and a decorator, and they're competing against one another to determine who is going to win this challenge for these two people who either want to sell their home, like one person always wants to sell, and then the other person, if it's a spouse or a couple, the other person wants to sell it, and the other person wants to stay. And so the decorator designs the home, makes it beautiful, and the realtor is trying to entice the people to actually sell their home and move. And so it's called Love It or List It. The third option is House Hunters, if you've ever watched this show, is where people are deciding on what home they want to have. And so they go out with a realtor and the cameras follow them and they look at all these different homes. And then at the end, there's this trivia where they're like, okay, so are they going to pick home A, B, C? And so it's a little competition to determine what are they going to pick? What are they going to do? And then at the end, it shows what home they have, and they flash forward to showing them inside of the home. So we're going to have a quick music break, and then you can vote and let me know, what's your favorite HGTV show? E, do you have a favorite? Do you watch HGTV?
And we do have our results in if you want to know them now.
Boom, go.
The survey results showed that the majority of folks loved the Like It or Love It. Am I saying it?
Like It or Listed. Love It or
Like It or Listed. Love It or Listed. Sorry, Love It or Listed.
You didn't remix the whole. You remixed the whole show, and that's totally.
This is the remix.
Love It or Listed, which I would have to say that is my favorite of the three. Love It or Listed, because I love seeing how you can refurbish an existing area.
Yes.
And or you can also go and start brand new in a different space. So I really like the love it or list it.
And they're pretty competitive. I like that about it, you know.
And I'm with you know, the doc, man, because I just like the concept of taking a space and just making it totally different. Like, you know, you don't have to have this, you know, $1 million school
Nope.
in order to make it $1 million space. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I'm with you, Doc.
Yep. I had a $5 million school budget and there was zero money for decor. There was zero money for classroom decoration. So if anyone had to be creative, it was me, because a lot of the funding that we spent went to being co-located, right? All the fees, all the attorney fees, a variety of different things. So I get it as a leader, like you are nickel and diming and trying to figure out how to make ends meet and making a lot of people happy at the same time. And so, you know, but there are strategies and there are ways to do that. So that way, you know, you make the space also for yourself. You want to make your space that you're working in like your home space. If you put in the effort and the time to decorate your home, put in the effort and the time to decorate your classroom, because that is going to get you so much more return of investment on your children, because they are going to feel valued and they're going to know that you've put forth this effort to change a space that they have to consistently and continuously be in. So with that,
that's right. And if I could take it a step further, I would say for schools, even the office spaces, even the conference rooms, right? All of it, right? Because, you know, when you think about it, you know, having the decor right and doing things as simple as offering them some water, parents, when they come in.
Yep.
That's part of the whole restorative process, right? Because now we're acknowledging you as a fellow human.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And not this hierarchy where, you know, I'm the leader of the school and you're the parent. Like, no, we need to, we need to humanize everybody, man, and just be humble in that approach. So I think all of the game you dropped today was marvelous, in the fact that, you know, there is a lot of restoration that needs to happen in schools.
Yes.
When you even think about the school to home relationship, you know, a lot of parents are already jaded, based upon their own experience in school. And so there's a lot of restoration that needs to happen in order to repair those relationships. So we do, I know we got about 7 minutes left in the webinar. So we did have a few questions.
Awesome.
And so one of the questions that came up are, when considering decor, right? When considering what you're going to add, are there specific components that you keep in mind? And I think the question was framed from a teacher perspective. Mm-hmm. So what should I be doing to accomplish the outcome of having that, you know, culturally relevant, you know, something that's representative of the kids? So if you could speak to specific components, that'd be great.
Number one is music, incorporating music into the classroom space. So like, if you have nothing that you can offer, or you have no time to switch up your space, or maybe you don't even have a space, maybe you're a traveling teacher, right? Utilizing music that is connected to the students and from their perspective. It could be instrumentals, utilizing music that is from when you grew up. You know, what did you grow up on that shaped you to be the great person that you are? And how do you continue that? You know, or if you have a curriculum and a lesson, music is a great way to ensure that your students are connecting to the curriculum. So that's one way, I would say, for sure.
Hey, you know, it's interesting. I was doing some observations. So I go into the PE class and they have stations, you know, exercise stations or whatever. And she put on some New Edition, or I believe it was New Edition. And so, you know, don't underestimate the music that these kids love, because all the kids, they stop doing the exercise and they just start grooving.
Yep.
You know, I'm like, what y'all know about this?
I play Anita Baker. I play Patti LaBelle. I play Frankie Beverly. I play, and they know it all. They know it all. And literally they tell me, oh, this is what we play on Saturday to go
Right,
clean
right.
in the house, which is facts. You know what I mean? No cap, as they say.
Right, no cap, no baloney.
No baloney. So.
So here's something, and this question is coming from me. You know, as I'm just thinking, as you're talking, I'm reflecting. Mm-hmm. In that term, relevant is ringing in my head.
Yep.
How do you stay up on game? You know what I mean, and making things relevant for the kids. Like, do you have strategies, or is that just innate?
It's definitely both, and it's intentional. So intentionality. Intentionality is instinctual, and that's that sixth sense that I was talking about. But so it's the same thing that we use to court for a spouse, right? We use intentionality. We pay attention to what people like. We listen more than speaking. The children are going to have their casual conversation. One way you could do it with like being low key about it is like listening to their conversations when they have their time, and seeing what they like and what they don't like, and invigorating that. Two is, you know, Google is your best friend. You can think about how you want to connect to your audience, your demographic. Like, who are the most popular artists, music artists in their city, right? Or where are they going to shop? What are they wearing? What books do you see them carrying and bringing in? Because there's still a lot of children who read like actual books and things like that. What games are they playing? Who their favorite sports teams are? So as far as culture and as far as like intentionality, we have to make sure that you're courting, so to speak, you know, your audience. Like, you're getting to know what is going to take that customer satisfaction. What does that look like? And it could be getting to know your students directly and just having those conversations and getting to know them on a one-on-one basis, and having that time incorporated into your instruction, because that time is vital and important. You know, they call it now, the term is like brain break. And so utilizing that brain break for yourself to have a brain break and get to know your students and or your employees, and understand where they're coming from and their perspective, what they like and what they don't like. Not just a regular, okay, here's a survey.
Right.
Here's 10 questions. Tell me what your favorite drink is and your favorite movie and your, you know.
No, that's deep, and we all know, having been in education so long, if you open it up, you have to put a stop to the conversation, because the kids really want to talk. They want to tell you. They want to be heard.
They do.
And then in that process, you're valuing their voice. You're communicating non-verbally that what you as a student, as a young person, think is important. Yep. And they love that. They definitely love that.
You're connecting to that limbic system. And not only that, they're communicating, and it's therapeutic because of everything that's been going on right now.
Yes.
A lot of people are not focusing on themselves. They're not. They're stressed and focused on, I don't want to lose my job. I need to go get a COVID test. I need to, you know, I got to pick up the kids at this time. Oh, we've got to be on quarantine because somebody was exposed. Or, hey, how am I going to make ends meet? Or they have now taken on, you know, adult responsibilities, being home to help families. And so we have to just give them time to be kids, you know, not necessarily scholars, but give them time, because they don't have a lot of time to just be a kid.
That's right. That's right. Now, Dr. O'Leary might kill me for this one, because we're just at time, but I do have, and I think it's going to be something important. Could you just share one anecdotal experience regarding what you have seen in terms of the impact that having the right environment has had specifically for you?
Yes, absolutely. I think I could talk about, when I became principal. I was a dean of culture, moved into being a principal, and our enrollment was at 435, 435 students. A lot of students just left, like they were going to other schools or they were going wherever they needed to go. With enrollment declining, when you're in the process of like doing a renewal, that's difficult and it's pivotal. It's like it could be a reason that your school potentially can get shut down, because if your enrollment is declining, that's a sign of something more serious. So one of my, 90-day goals that I put on myself was like, how do we become a neighborhood school where kids want to go to our school again? What has shifted with our parents of where they feel they need to take them out of the school? And so what we started doing was like those simple things that you mentioned, like offering, greeting people. Everyone, all staff should be greeted when they come into the building, period. And students need to learn how to greet each other as well. When you see an adult, you speak. That's back in the day, right? That's like common courtesy. But that brings community. And so we just start building slowly community. And then I really didn't advertise that I was there because there was no time to advertise who I was and what was going on. And, when enrollment time came, we just opened up the school and welcomed the community to come into the school and see how we were changing the school. And we went from 435 to 508 in one school year. And that was tremendous work as far as processing and adding all these new students in one school year, because our system wasn't even, the staff wasn't there, the budget wasn't there, because you have to wait until that day hits for your money to come. So
Right.
we were working at a 508 capacity on a 435 budget for months.
Right.
I was everything, the janitor, working in the everything. But once, you know what I mean? But people started to see, we added a CIF. So we added sports where kids could stay because they were leaving and transitioning into other schools. So just figuring out, asking them and having conversations with them, what would you like to see in your school? And creating spaces in the classrooms where students felt welcome and where teachers felt like they had a voice, and where the community were always invited. We always had whoever the mayor pro temp was, they were always invited. We had family dinners, family gatherings, and we shifted the culture that way. And then that led to me being able to request and ask for donations to change up the space within the classrooms and on the campus. And that is how we started creating this culture of a school of like, I'm an MSA 3 Viper. Like, I am proud of my school. I can't see myself going anywhere else. This is where I want to be. And it just happened, intricately, and being a community. And then, but visually having a visual connection that we are a strong school, we're a beautiful school, and utilizing, respect and treating people as humans, like you said. And that just brought, word of mouth spread, and we increased enrollment significantly.
Yeah, and I'll just end on this. I think all of the components that you just mentioned, people are observing. Even when you don't think they're looking, they're looking.
Yep.
And so when you're paying attention to detail and you're making those efforts, word spreads fast.
Yeah.
And so
good or bad.
So, obviously we want to be on the good side. So, you definitely want to pay attention to the detail. The students are leaving classrooms and they're going home and they're telling their parents, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're paying attention to the detail and the decor being one of that,
yep.
Students are going home and they're happy.
Yep.
They're pleased with their educational experiences.
Yep.
And so we cannot underestimate the value of any small, intricate detail. Like it's interesting. You just mentioned greeting people.
Yep.
Like that goes a long way. It goes a long way. So, Ms. Daniel, I just have to say, this today was awesome. Your presentation was amazing.
Thank you.
Glad that you're part of the Menti team.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Hello. And with that being said, I just want to thank all of the viewers, all of the participants for taking time, an hour out on a Saturday. We know that, especially if you're in education, once the weekend comes, you really just want to unwind, kind of decompress. Yeah. And so just making that effort to come out, showing that this is valuable to you. We just want to appreciate all of the viewers that came on, and then the future viewers, because all of the webinars will be available on YouTube. Perfect. So I just want to shout out all of the future viewers, right? Any last parting words before we get out of here?
No, thank you. Go to Target.
Or
it's a beautiful day to go to Target and figure out what you want to add to your classroom or your work environment.
Exactly.
Add that to your one item, and then go spend $100 and have a good time. No, I'm just kidding. I just feel that if you could take a little bit of your time every day when you're driving around or when you're in spaces and seeing what can motivate you and how you can incorporate that into your space, it will help uplift not only your audience, but yourself. I feel like decor and design is very therapeutic. It's like shopping. You know what I mean? It's like playing a sport. It really is. You're hitting that part of your brain that's creative. And that once you hit that, it automatically can give you the adrenaline you need to keep going. And I know it's difficult at times. And sometimes, we don't have the time, but making a little bit of time to be intentional will go a long way, and it will give you the stock and the value that you need to make productive change in your life.
Well, with that being said, we just want to thank you once again. You are a very powerful educator.
Thank you.
And in the school you're at, they're definitely very blessed to have you. And for all of the participants, we hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and make sure you stay in tune with Menti. We have a lot of things, that we have preheated right now that we're getting ready to cook up. We're gonna put a lot of seasoning on it, so just make sure, if you're not on our emailing list, jump on the emailing list, reach out, stay in tune, because we definitely have a lot of great things coming your way. But with that being said, we out of here like last year.
Yep. Peace out.
Yeah, we'll talk.